Yeah. Perfect. Will you look at the camera for me? Or you can stay serious. You don't have to smile, you can do whatever you want. Thank you.
You made it. Here we are 3 days before Thanksgiving break. Thanks for tuning in to Humans at CSU. I'm your host, Brynn Carmen. To kickstart our last show of the semester, we now welcome Michael Wells, the ASCSU Director of Finance, and Josh Silva, the ASCSU Controller of Finance, to chat about money. Welcome to the show, guys. Thank you so much for being on.
Yeah, thanks, Brynn.
To begin, can you guys just explain a little bit the different roles you guys play in ASCSU?
Yeah, so we both are obviously in the finance department, so my role really focuses on student groups, helping student groups and kind of managing office kind of money, things like that.
Excellent. And what about you, Michael?
My job is we work together, and so we have a budget that we put together every year, and I basically make sure that we're keeping track of that, and we're, you know, every department's keeping on track with its expenses and all its line items for different events we do throughout the year.
Excellent. So tell me a little bit about BSOF, which is the Board for Student Organization Funding.
Yeah, so that's a board that I chair for. It's basically a way for students to come and get funding for their events throughout the year. It's a really, really great opportunity because students can get up to $15,000 for their events. It's just a great way for us to give back to the students directly and really see great, you know, student involvement.
Excellent. And how do you kind of decide where to allocate the money and who deserves it?
So we basically go off of a viewpoint neutral criteria that allows us to, you know, hear every presentation from every group, as long as the events are cultural or educational, you know, really something that gives back, you know, maybe not a monster truck rally, but something that's that everybody can enjoy.
Sure, sure. And can you compare the finances within that organization from last year to this year a little bit for me?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of the numbers are the same, you know, very consistent from year to year, but I think the biggest difference is more effective communication and kind of a mutual respect between us and kind of the other departments that allows us to really keep on top of all of the money and not excessively spend, you know, not buying a lot of food, not buying a lot of things that students wouldn't be happy with their student fee money going to that.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And one of the things to, you know, that is consistent with what this administration ran on, and the very first thing that Michael and I actually talked about before even getting ratified by the Senate was improving communication between different groups and making sure that we all uphold the same consistent standards for funding and for, you know, just really making sure that we give them a platform to succeed.
Excellent. And do you both work together when making these decisions?
Yeah, I think Josh and I make a really good team. We're very consistent with our decision making, and I always look to him for advice and vice versa.
Yeah, and we are actually both members of the BSOF board, which has 9 other members, not including ourselves, that contribute to that process. So they all do a really good job, and we all make sure that, you know, communication is open when it comes to groups and what we're thinking, and we actually end up being on the same page a lot of the time, which is really nice.
I feel like you'd have to, working together.
And when we don't, you know, we fight it out. So.
Yeah, I know. You guys were really aggressive before the show started.
Yeah.
I can tell you don't like each other.
No.
Not friends,
absolutely
nothing.
hate him.
Must be tough to work with each other.
No comment.
Well, and I mean, I smell bad, so it's...
I don't smell you. You smell good from here. Yeah.
That's
you look
good.
good, you smell good, you both look nice.
Masked it well.
Thank you.
Definitely. Can you describe the Senate and executive budgets to me?
Yeah, so ASCSU as a whole receives around just over $2 million a year in student fees. About $250,000 of that is for the executive branch, so different things such as you know, the president's office budget, or traditions and programs to fund things like Grill the Buffs or Homecoming Week or the discrimination forum that we just had on Tuesday. And then the Senate has just about $1.8 million in student fees, so they get that difference, and they use it for bigger projects such as Transport, you know, the transportation program with the buses, and the readership contract, which allows us to have, you know, USA Today, the New York Times, and the Denver Post on campus every single day of the week at least. So.
And I think what's great about the way the budget's laid out is everything, you know, you really see going back to students. All the programs, you know, like Josh had mentioned, Grill the Buffs Homecoming. The later ones ramped up. Dead Week at the end of the year, May Day. A lot of these things you really do get to see, you know, direct student involvement in.
That's great. And how long do you guys hold your positions for? Will it just be for this school year, or?
Well, hopefully after my emperor kind of like thing pushing in, it can be forever, but
Okay.
no, really it's just, you know, it's a year position. We hold it from June right up until about, you know, June next year.
So our terms will end with the new administration. You know, after the elections, they'll put together their own cabinet and hire a new director of finance and controller and every other position.
Excellent. And I'm guessing you're both business majors?
Yep.
Good.
And
Yes.
dance major.
Are you really?
No.
That's a joke.
I wish.
That was surprising to
I wish.
hear.
Yeah, I'm also a political science major, but we're
Okay.
both business, finance, which is a nice overlap. You know, you want to have that experience in the finance department. So,
Can you guys tell me what it means to be a human at CSU?
I think, you know, Rams take care, Rams take action. The biggest thing about being a human at CSU is caring for others. That's one thing that I see in the community, and especially in the ASCSU office. It's people that I really get to, you know, have this mutual respect with, and, you know, everybody cares about each other, and, you know, even Josh. Yeah, it's just looking out for other people and, you know, truly wanting to give back and be a part of a bigger community.
And what about for you, Josh?
I think being human, you know, it's great being in this position because we see so many different people with different experiences and backgrounds and goals, and that we all remember that we're very fortunate to be able to be attending university, and more specifically Colorado State. And then everyone that I see is, even though they have different goals and methods and everything, that everyone is pursuing different, you know, goals and dreams and passions and everything like that. And I think that those different experiences kind of humanize everyone, because it's easy to just view a job title or, you know, view an organization, but when you see the people and faces behind it and the motivations behind those goals and dreams, it really becomes humanized.
I agree. I agree. So one last question for you. My dad's an accountant, and he says I'm really, really good at spending money, but not so good at managing it. So what would you tell any young college kid who's trying to stay on a budget and manage their money? What would you advise them?
The biggest thing is just, you know, physically writing things down. A lot of people just think, oh, the only way to budget money is just know, oh, I'm only going to spend $20.
That's what I say.
Yeah, and I mean, it happens to me every week, and then, you know, I end up buying 40-cent burritos at King Supers for lunch. So,
Yum. Hey, you did better than me. I had Subway for lunch, so I spent a little bit more there.
Yeah, but I mean, it really is, I think the biggest thing that students miss is writing it down. Just a simple Excel spreadsheet can, you know, help you understand what you've been spending, keeping track of it. I mean, the accounting that we do for ASCSU is literally just a giant Excel document that we, you know, this is what we've spent, this is what we have, this is, you know, where we're going in the future.
All right, I'm going to do it. Right when I get home, I'm going to start that Excel sheet.
It doesn't have to be an Excel sheet, you know, on your phone. Like I have a grocery list, and nothing that's not on that list is getting bought. And just little things like that, and, you know, helping set aside days for certain things. So I'm going to the grocery store on this day, and, you know, if I don't go on that day, then I guess I'm not going. So yeah, obviously we're going to starve.
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you for the advice, and we appreciate you both being on our show tonight. Thank you so much.
Brynn.
Thank you very much.
Old Town is the heart of Fort Collins because of its rich culture and atmosphere. After the break, we take a look into the people and places that make it thrive.
Into KCSU, your student-run radio station at Colorado State University. Live 24 hours a day, every day at 90.5 FM and kcsufm.com. Live local new music now, and news, talk, and sports. KCSU, the radio voice of Colorado State, on the air since 1964.
You're watching CTV, produced by Colorado State University students, bringing you news, weather, sports, and entertainment from campus and beyond. CTV live Monday through Thursday at 7 p.m. on campus and Fort Collins on Channel 11. Repeats at midnight, 8 a.m., noon, and 2 p.m.
The Rocky Mountain Collegian is your student-run news and information platform. Pick up your paper on campus or around Fort Collins Monday through Thursday with special editions Fridays. And check out collegian.com anytime for all the latest updates. News, sports, entertainment, opinion, and more. The Rocky Mountain Collegian, serving Colorado State since 1891.
College Avenue has been your student magazine for the last 10 years. College Avenue prints once a month covering topics that are relevant to the CSU and Fort Collins community. We also print special editions like the graduation guides at the end of each semester, the Best of CSU each fall, and the orientation guide each summer. Look for us on racks around campus, off campus, or online at collegian.com under the College Avenue tab.
Once at the core of business activity, the brick and stone facades provide a link to the past. The ornamental cornices and brackets and lintels are records of skilled craftsmen who worked to build Fort Collins. Old Town Historical District is rich and vibrant, part of the culture of Fort Collins, and not only that, but also the community here and CSU students. Disneyland was actually built to look like Old Town because of its character and charm. There are many businesses in Old Town, ranging from hair salons to breakfast joints, but some of the most important businesses, perhaps, are the ones that give back. Located in the heart of Old Town Square is a little shop, 10,000 Villages, a nonprofit store where you can explore and connect with global villages around the world.
10,000 Villages in Old Town Fort Collins is run by Wendy Poppin, a woman passionate about helping women in developing nations.
I love it for a million reasons. I mean, I really believe in fair trade. I believe that I've been to a lot of developing countries in my life, and I see the poverty and I see what's going on. I see beautiful things being made and these people basically giving it away. I'm a feminist, and most of the artisans are women, and I think that's awesome. A lot of the women don't have much clout in their communities, and now that they're making these things and making money, they all of a sudden are revered and respected and not getting beaten by their husbands anymore.
This nonprofit fair trade company represents about 35 countries, and the corporate office that buys and communicates with artisans is based in Pennsylvania.
And the way we do it is we look at the whole world and find the poorest countries, and then we divide our budget accordingly to who needs help the most that year.
In addition to connecting with crafters all around the world, the company must also follow severe guidelines when purchasing products and bringing items into North America.
We're also set to very high standards from the Fair Trade Federation of making sure that the artisan who made these things really is making the money that you're spending on something.
After this process, the next step for Poppin is to order items the corporate office has purchased. She has a keen eye for what the community wants and has many bestsellers.
It's our good luck pig. So it's a little tiny pig from Chile made from the indigenous dirt there. And we're the only store that has it as a #1 seller.
Poppin has a heart of gold, love for the world, and impactful connection with people. It is no surprise she has been the store manager since 10,000 Villages opened 16 years ago in Old Town. The store's vision and purpose mirror her own.
I've always had the feeling that in my life I always wanted to have jobs that made the world better.
Poppin says if you can't go and visit some of the faraway places on your bucket list, to come into the store and shop through some of the crafts and artwork you may find abroad. She says shopping at 10,000 Villages can be a trip in itself. Now, Old Town is dazzling as it is, but becomes even more magical when the holiday lights are lit up. Thousands of sustainable LED twinkly lights were strung through the Old Town trees, shops, and restaurant fronts recently to kick off the holiday season. Whether running an errand, going to get your hair done, running to grab a coffee, or going on that date with that special someone, be sure to walk through the stunning streets of Old Town before the end of winter and take in the spectacular holidays atmosphere. Next, we interview someone who is spreading peace on the plaza, and I know we all need a little of that after last week's election.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
Our next interview on Humans at CSU is monk Ananda Murari Das. Good evening, Ananda. Thank you so much for being on our show tonight.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Fantastic.
So I'm always walking through the plaza on Tuesdays, and I see you practicing your medical meditation, but can you explain it a little bit to me?
Yeah, musical meditation it's known as kirtan. Kirtan is a Sanskrit word that means to glorify or to share. And kirtan is a practice that's been going on for many thousands of years. And the idea is that there are many different vibrations going on, and one of the subtlest of vibrations is sound. And so it's the practice of using sound to uplift the consciousness. And so kirtan consists of chanting ancient names of God. We specifically chant a mantra called the Maha Mantra, and these are ancient names of God in the Sanskrit language.
Wow.
So,
how long have you been chanting?
I've been practicing for about 5 years or so. I met some devotees in Arizona where I was going to school, and I deeply resonated with the philosophy and the practice of kirtan. So.
Excellent. How are you how are you striving to share that with students here at CSU?
So for the last 3 years or so, every Tuesday we've been coming up, and we'll do the kirtan on the plaza, and it's a really nice way to that we get to know the community and interact with community a lot. And the whole idea is this sound vibration, even if you don't understand what it is, what it means, it has an effect. And people have actually come to us and told us, they walk by and they say, I don't really know what you're doing, but thank you so much, And so just trying to have a presence out there and help people kind of get through the situations that we all face in life, the difficulties.
I mean, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
But I walk past and I always feel much better after I listen to you guys and I see you. I know you also hand out treats, vegetarian, gluten-free.
Yeah, vegan treats.
Vegan treats. Do you make those yourself?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big part of our practice. We cook things and then we offer to God.
Okay.
And the whole idea is that when we live in a mood of gratitude in this world, gratitude will actually take us very far. First thing that we learn in economics is that there's scarcity, there's not enough to go around, But if we go through this world rather than trying to take and always trying to get for ourselves, and we're going through this world in a mood of how can I serve, we'll find that there's no dearth of our opportunity of engagement. There's always some service to do. And that's really the essence of what we do with this kirtan, and it's from a tradition called Bhakti Yoga. Okay. So it's not a religion, it's not a Hindu tradition, it's not any of these things. It's the idea of trying to become fully engaged in the essence of all of those different practices.
Wow.
And all of those different practices are to love and serve God. And God is known by many different names, and the names we chant, Hare, Krishna, and Rama, these are ancient names that describe God's unlimited qualities. And so the whole practice of Bhakti Yoga is to engage in loving service, to be able to see the world as an opportunity to serve.
Wow. Okay. Do you meditate in addition to this?
Yeah, every morning. So the chanting is the main part of our practice, but every morning down in Denver in our community, we wake up at 4:30, and wake up around 4. 4:30 is when the meditation starts. And we'll start the day singing different songs. I brought the drum, and we'll play the drum and different things. We'll sing different songs. And then for about 2 hours, these are some prayer beads that I have. And we'll chant the same mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We'll chant that mantra on each one of these beads. And then there's 108 beads on this prayer mala, or necklace. And it takes about 10 minutes or so, and we chant about 16 of those. And so for about 2 hours we'll do that. And then throughout the day, the idea is, like St. Francis, he said, or the Bible actually says, constantly be in prayer. And that's the idea. It's that to constantly absorb ourselves in the highest vibration.
So fascinating. I know everyone is always very, interested and not necessarily wants to take part of it, but just wants to be a part of the piece. And I think you and all the other people that come up and do it are really, really providing that for everyone at CSU. So we appreciate it. And I would love to hear and see you chant if you were wanting to.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay. How long should I chant for? Sometimes we do 24-hour kirtans.
Wow.
So,
okay, like 30 seconds?
Should put a limit on it.
30 seconds?
So I just got over having a cold, so. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Beautiful, so peaceful. I can actually feel your peace radiating off, and you're just a wonderful person, and it's so fascinating to learn more about what you do. So thank you for being on our show tonight.
Yeah,
we really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Up next, we talk fighting and history. Next up, we're joined by an organization that takes both of those things to the next level.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooledDoc. You want a college education, don't you? You know you do. That's why we're here. We're free and here to guide you through every step of the way, starting with attendance. Gary, financial aid forms. Picking a college, man. You and us. We go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos. Go to GetSchooledDoc.
Welcome to the show, Rebecca and Nolan. They are members of the Medieval Society of Rams Keep. Good evening, guys. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Hi, Brynn.
How are you tonight?
Doing well. How about you?
Good, good. So I know you guys formally go by Rebecca and Nolan, but I understand you have some medieval names too. Do you mind telling me those?
Yeah, in our group, a lot of times people will kind of pick a historical figure to base their characters off of, and sometimes they'll pick a name to fit that time period. So my in-period name is Vivian Bell.
Okay. And
Nolan?
My in-period name is kind of a running joke. It's Haggis, because you sometimes don't necessarily want one around, but you might need it.
And why might we need it?
If you're talking about like what an actual haggis is in history, it's a type of very unpleasant food made in Scotland.
Oh, okay. I did not know
but
that.
it's a preservable food that you can keep almost indefinitely. So.
Very cool. So tell me a little bit about the history of the organization here at CSU.
So the actual student org here has been around for over 20 years at this point. And obviously it's had different people over the years because, you know, students come and go. So over the years we've seen, you know, as many as like 50 students at once and sometimes as few as 5. Right now I think we're up to about 35 or so, you think?
On a running basis, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of people. And I know you said you were the president, so tell me a little bit about what it's like leading the organization.
You know, I don't think of it as really being like a real president position since in our group, everyone's really a teacher. Like everyone brings something new to our group. So I'm just one of many people who does it. I just happen to do more paperwork than other people.
Gotcha. What about you, Nolan?
I'm what you, I guess, could call the instructor of the fencing and safety, so kind of a martial arts lifeguard, I suppose, or the equivalent of something like that.
Nice.
But to make sure that everyone is safe, following the same rules, no one's getting angry at each other, and all the equipment that we're using is up to standards and safe.
Sure. Now tell me a little bit about the equipment. Tell me a little bit about your swords and your outfits.
Well, I guess there's different areas, and some people will purchase all their own stuff offline or from other vendors. In our group in particular, a lot of people actually make their own gear. So most of my armor and most of Nolan's armor is actually homemade. And Nolan actually makes a lot of stuff blacksmithing-wise for the swords.
Wow.
So like the guard on this is all homemade.
Oh my goodness. How long did it take you to make that?
Total hours, probably about 5 or 6 days stretched over a series of weeks.
Wow, it's incredible.
But
you can tell, it's absolutely beautiful.
You always see the flaws and mistakes in what you make and want to go back and correct them.
I think it looks good. I would never know.
We can also decorate a lot of our safety gear as well. If you know what Olympic fencing masks look like, this is kind of a...
You're sitting on it.
But we can add faces and sometimes airbrushed, unbelievably intricate art. We can go very simple in terms of the jackets and protective gear that we wear. We can go much more complex in terms of how you hide your body in your gear as a part of a trick. There's all kinds of styles and all kinds of weapons, and we really work to make sure that the style and gear is custom tailored to the individual rather than following a rigid curriculum.
Okay, sure. Now, when you guys meet, is fencing a part of that? What else do you guys do in addition to that?
So we actually meet 3 times a week. Sundays we're in the South College gym, and that's mostly combat. And you know, there's people like us there who are doing rapier fencing, but we also have other guests come in and visit and do other things as well. And then the other 2 times we meet in Edwards Hall on Mondays and Tuesday evenings. And Mondays is mainly a fencing practice, so people come in and do fencing mainly, but they can also bring crafts. Tuesdays are more of an arts and science day, so people will come and they'll bring crafts. So we'll do like illumination of texts, we'll do embroidery, people will come work on armor. We have medieval dance and music sessions, so there's a lot more to the group than just the fencing, which is nice.
That's amazing. Tell me about the dances.
Nolan actually has more experience in them than I do, but usually we have groups of, you know, like 5 to 10 people who come in, and, you know, there's people who bring in like beautiful music, and sometimes people will actually bring in instruments and they'll kind of play their own music for that, and everyone will pair up and learn new dances and practice old ones. And then when we meet up at larger events, then, you know, sometimes people from those groups will come do dances as kind of an art display.
Some are very formalized, other ones are very goofy folk dances that existed in past history. Some of which are just the tempo and pace of the song will increase and increase until people are flying all over the place and falling over. It's
mostly falling over.
Yeah.
Definitely exciting. Is medieval history something that you guys have always been passionate about, and that's why you got involved in it here?
I got into it because a friend of mine was into it and took me to the practices and wanted me to get involved, and then somehow I ended up as one of the club officers. Don't ask me how. I think it's just more of a greater tolerance for paperwork, honestly. And you know, some people are really serious about the historical aspects of it, and like all their armor will be historically accurate, and they'll pick this character and be like down to a T historically accurate. And some people are really just there for fun. I'm more there for fun and to keep things running.
Nice, that's a good balance.
Yeah, Nolan studies the history more than I do.
I always had a fascination with weapons and knights and armor, and then as a teenager, a very good friend got me into the SCA because I had a bit of an anger problem. And there's a lot of people who get a lot of unpleasant inclinations out of their system, just like with any martial arts group, through this. It clears your head for the week. It gets all of those bad thoughts and feelings out, which I think is very therapeutic.
Good. Very good. Well, thank you both for being on the show. It was really wonderful learning more about it, so we appreciate it.
No problem.
Have a safe and fun break, Rams. It has been a pleasure working with my producer, Michelle, to create this show this semester. We both have really enjoyed getting to know the humans that make up the campus of CSU. I'll see you next semester for the spring premiere of Humans at CSU. Happy holidays.